Welcome to the Understanding the Alcohol Trap Masterclass. My name is Sonia Grimes. I am the recovery coach and I'm also the creator of the Rapid Alcohol Recovery Method. So this masterclass is to help you understand and start to unweave your alcohol trap. And in this masterclass, I'm going to cover how the alcohol trap is created for you, how you maintain your alcohol trap, how it is that sometimes you are able to stop drinking for a period of time. Maybe you're on a detox or dry January or sober October, and you can seemingly easily not drink, and then when it's over you return, and how to start letting your alcohol trap be released, to let it go. So before I go into those 4 points, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. So I am a 56 years young. I am the single mother of the most glorious golden ticket in life boy, Christopher. And for 28 years, I struggled with alcohol. Now, it didn't become desperate for me to change until I had my son. And then it became the dearest wish of my life. It was what I wanted more than anything else, to be sober, to be a woman I knew I was on some level, but couldn't quite find, and the mother he absolutely deserved to be. And the more I struggled to stop drinking, the tighter the trap became. And then about 7 years ago, I believe, I was told that if I didn't stop drinking, I might not survive. And I didn't know how to stop drinking. And so in my not knowing, in my fear, in my pain, I started to drink more. And then 6 years ago, seemingly out of nowhere, I suddenly stopped. And I stopped like that, and it was effortless, and it was nuts, frankly. I couldn't understand it. From that moment that I stopped, we have alcohol in the house. I don't see it as a drink. It's just there. It can be on the sink with the washing up. You know, if my partner's had a glass of red wine, but there is no pull to it. There's no attachment to it. It's just gone. So in those 6 years, I have really done a lot of research and understanding and personal self-development and training. I'm a master practitioner of NLP. I'm a master coach, and I have brought all that together in the Rapid Alcohol Recovery Method. Now, there is a number of big differences between my work and traditional therapies, and one of the biggest is you decide how you want to drink on the Rapid Alcohol Recovery Method, and whatever you decide, it works. It's a 6-week program, and at the end of it, you will be completely relaxed and comfortable around alcohol and alcohol situations, and still able to enjoy a drink if that's what you wish. So that's a little bit about me. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about your drinking. I don't like assumptions, but this is a universal truth of everybody who wants to change the way they drink and are stuck in a trap. And you will recognize yourself here. It's nothing to do with the externals of what's going on in your life, although at the time you may feel it is. It's the same for everybody. You decide you don't want to drink. And when you make that decision, you can feel comfortable for a little bit, and then then a discomfort kicks in. You start to worry about how you will feel without alcohol. You start to go back on the promises you've made yourself, even only a couple of hours previously, that you won't drink. And alcohol, in that conflict that builds in your mind, it feels like there are voices pulling you into. Alcohol becomes stronger and stronger and stronger in your mind. You can even feel like you have a physical reaction to the way you're thinking, and ultimately that conflict, that inner struggle, becomes so big that you have no choice but to drink. Do you recognize yourself here? It might not happen every day. It does happen every time you don't want to drink and you're not feeling good on another level in your life. It snaps over, then desire to drink snaps over and you drink. So that's how all of us, me included, drink. Now, it seems inconceivable and nuts when we know on an intellectual level that we want to change our drinking, when we know it affects our family, when we know it affects our work, when we know it affects our health. And the more we don't want to drink, the more you try to change your drinking, the tighter the alcohol trap appears. You feel like you're in a straitjacket with no choice. Do you recognize yourself? It is the same for all of us. So let's talk about now how that trap is created. The trap is the same for everyone. The reasons it's created can vary hugely. It can be that you started drinking at a young age to feel more confident. There doesn't have to have been a big trauma in your life. There could have been a big trauma in your life. But at some stage, you started to drink in a way that was not a problem, and it gave you something. Whatever that something was, it might have been a bit more confidence. It might have made you feel a bit sexier. It might have helped you obliterate unhappy memories. At that time, it did give you something. No matter how temporary, it did give you something. And that something, that knowledge that it did give you a different feeling, filtered down into your unconscious mind as alcohol being something that offers you support. Now, if it hadn't filtered down into your unconscious mind as being something that offered you support, you could let it go. But once it has filtered down into your unconscious mind and becomes a belief, it's very difficult, for now anyway, to let it go. Because your unconscious mind is a superpower. It controls 98% of your behavior. It controls your breathing. It controls your heart rate. And the prime directive of your unconscious mind is to protect and preserve the integrity of the body. It will do everything in its power to make you feel better. And it uses the beliefs it has of what has made you feel better at some point and clings onto them. They become rock solid within you. So you can know consciously, intellectually, with your conscious mind, that you don't want to drink. You can see the damage it's causing. You can see the pain it's causing your children when mummy's absent, emotionally absent. When you snap at your partner because you've had a couple of drinks and you feel bad, you feel embarrassed and you want to hide it. And any time you feel bad or lower, or any time that even that is on the horizon, your unconscious mind has learned to believe that alcohol brings you something. And so it brings alcohol to the forefront of your awareness as something that will make you feel better, whatever better is to you in the moment. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could just be you're too tired, you're not feeling good. It could be you're a bit bored, you're not feeling good. Anytime you don't feel good and you want to feel better, your unconscious mind sends you alcohol as the solution. Do you recognize that? So ultimately what's happened is alcohol is represented within your superpower of your unconscious mind as the solution, not the problem, in intention anyway. Intellectually, it has become the problem. You see it. You see it everywhere. You see what it's doing. You see your poorer. You see the effects it's having on your relationships. And every time you feel lower, the need for alcohol is stronger as a solution to the problem. It's not the result, it's the intention. Do you recognize that? It is another absolutely universal truth. So then we'll go on to the part where you cannot drink for a while, dry January, sober October, a detox, whatever, and you can even have bad days on that detox and the need for alcohol isn't there. That's nuts, isn't it? Again, another nuts. It's all nuts when it comes to alcohol and the way we view it. And you think, okay, well, if what Sonia has said about the unconscious mind is correct, which it is, why then, during the detox, why during Sober October, why during Dry January, can I relatively easily stay away from alcohol? Again, that's very easy to let you know what's going on there. During those times, you know on an unconscious level, conscious and unconscious level, that there is a time limit on those. The detox might be 6 weeks, could even be 3 months. So you do feel physically better on the detox anyway, and even on a lower day, your unconscious mind knows, it knows 100% that it's going to end, whether it's in a month or 2 months. It knows there's an end date, so it doesn't feel so compelled to offer you comfort, because you're not actually saying, I'm never going to comfort myself again, which is what you're saying when you say, I'm not going to drink. What you're saying is, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to be okay. And your unconscious mind doesn't feel poked with a red hot iron into trying to protect you and offer you comfort. That's exactly what's going on there. And then when it's over, when the detox, the Dry January, the Sober October, whatever is over, you return back because the time limit has passed. I hope you recognise that too. That's what's going on there. So the next part is, how do you let it go? How do I let that go? Your unconscious mind is your superpower. It controls 98% of your behaviour. The minute you tell yourself that you are not going to drink, it kicks in. It kicks in not because it doesn't want you to feel well. It kicks in because when you are saying, I'm not going to drink anymore, in your unconscious mind, the representation of alcohol is comfort, whatever comfort is to you in that moment. So when you say, I'm not going to drink, you are actually saying to your unconscious mind, your superpower, and I know I keep repeating that, it's very, very important, I'm not going to offer myself comfort. You cannot tell your unconscious mind that. It will always overwhelm you in thought and physical feeling, and you will drink. So how do you let that go? Alcohol is not the problem. It's what you believe on an unconscious level it brings you. Alcohol is not the problem. It's become the problem, but it's not the problem. It's the beliefs you hold around alcohol. It's the beliefs you hold around how easy alcohol your drinking is to change. And those beliefs you've gathered from what you see and hear around you. And quite frankly, those beliefs are terrifying. You see rich and famous people saying it was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was the best thing. And you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. If it's the hardest thing you've ever done with all your resources, how on earth am I going to do it with my lack of resources? And also, when you hear it's the hardest thing you ever do, you are already completely depleted on every level. You feel weak, you feel a failure, you feel hopeless, you feel alcohol is part of you, and then you're being asked to gain this momentum and strength to go and smash it. It's just never going to work like that. That's the hardest way. There is a much easier way. You are not your drinking. If you were your drinking would not cause you pain. We are never in pain when we are who we are designed to be. All of us in peace and balance. We're in pain when we lose that peace and balance. And we lose that peace and balance by not listening to ourselves, by not trusting our instincts, by not checking in on ourselves, asking ourselves what we need in the moment. If you were to pause just before you grab that glass of wine, which is the end result of that storm going on in your head, if you were to pause and ask yourself with the kindness you would ask a child, what do you need from me right now, darling? And wait and listen, an answer would come from your soul. It might be, I need to rest. I need some nourishment. I need some hydration. I need a cuddle. I need a kind word. I need some space. Those are the things you are looking for. and in your very innocent self-neglect of those things, and in your lack of awareness of what's missing, your unconscious mind sends you to alcohol. Do you recognize that? When you are connected with who you are, which is the easiest thing to do, you do not need alcohol. You can just drink it occasionally as a drink because it's gone from being a source of comfort, because you are your source of comfort, to being something that can be enjoyed occasionally without stress or without fear of it becoming something else. Once you let go of the beliefs around what alcohol is, which is the easiest thing to do, your beliefs are created by the way you think. And one of the only things, possibly the only thing you have total control over in life is the way you think. You are free. I promise you. It's how I am free. It's how I am effortlessly sober. By releasing the thinking, which released the beliefs, by checking in on myself, by asking myself what I need, by knowing myself. Now, that all sounds really lovely, and you might say to yourself, well, I'm at work and the thoughts are coming up, and, I'm stressed and I'm tired, and I ask myself, what do I need? I need to lie down. Well, I can't go and lie on the office floor. No, of course you can't. But what you can do is you can acknowledge that need and promise it yourself for later and deliver it. And in acknowledging it, and promising yourself to do it later, to deliver it later, and delivering it later, and doing that consistently, you will notice that your alcohol need dies down. Whilst you try to focus on changing what you do, the way you drink, alcohol being the problem, you are trying the hardest way to make the changes you want. When you start to view alcohol as what it is, a way you have learnt to offer yourself comfort, a way you have learnt it to be a solution to your problems, you're then taking your focus away from the perceived solution to what the problem really is. You're not weak. You're not a failure. You don't lack willpower or motivation or any of those other things. You lack the awareness of what's going on. You see that alcohol is the problem, and of course it's become the problem. Of course it has. But it actually, in intention, was the solution. And when you focus on trying to change the solution, you leave the problem in its place. Now, the Rapid Alcohol Recovery Method is a 6-week program, 6-week one-to-one program. In the very first week, you will have the absolute understanding of how you have learned to represent alcohol. And it's not about past traumas. It's not about things like that. They may well be the reasons you started to drink, but they are not the reasons that you maintain your drinking. They are not the reasons you maintain your drinking. My process is how I live without even realizing it. I created this process because of the effortless release I have now, the connection I have with myself, the understanding, the awareness, the self-compassion, the self-forgiveness I have of myself, of knowing myself, delivering what I need, and not viewing alcohol as the problem. Now, I personally don't drink at all, but that's just because I actually don't really know. I guess on some levels I don't like licorice, so I don't eat licorice. 95% of my clients don't want to never drink again. What they don't want is to feel the compelling need. That's what they don't want. And my process is unique in its success rate, very, very differently from traditional therapies, because I don't focus on the alcohol. I don't focus on the alcohol. And if you've watched this and understood this, then you're already in a really fantastic place to let it go. It's become the problem. The intention behind it, though, is the solution to the problems. I have some fantastic techniques and strategies that take you out of alcohol stress immediately. You change your beliefs by seeing evidence of something different. So that's the other thing we do. We build evidence in your life of something different. Now, if you are interested in being part of this incredible journey that I'm still on today, please contact me. Effortless change is my passion. Effortless, it's got to be effortless. And when we are who we are designed to be, it is effortless. And one last thing I want you to think of before you go, about willpower. You only need willpower to stop yourself doing something you really want to do. When you don't really want to do it, you don't need willpower. Does that make sense? So there's no willpower in this process. There's no motivation. There's no control. It's about letting go. It's about effortless release. So if you would like an exploratory chat about the rapid alcohol recovery method, it is completely unique in its approach, its delivery, and its success. Please just contact me. Reach out. Let's have a chat. This world has got to change. This pain around alcohol has got to change. We've got to let it go. And I really am a fantastic place to start. Be very kind and gentle with yourselves, and I hope we talk soon.